Ladies and gentlemen, there lies within each of us a battlefield, one that no eye can see and no hand can touch. This is the battle within, the lifelong struggle between the noble aspirations of our spirit and the more fleeting desires of our earthly nature. It is an unseen war, but one that shapes our destiny more than any external force ever could. The first truth we must accept is this: the struggle is universal. No one is exempt from the tension between right and wrong, courage and fear, virtue and vice. This battle does not discriminate. It visits the strong and the weak alike. The real question is not whether the battle exists, but whether we will rise to meet it. The battle within is a universal experience shared by all who walk this earth. It is an unseen struggle, deeply personal and often misunderstood, yet it shapes the very essence of who we are. This battle arises from the duality of human nature, the constant tension between our higher aspirations and baser instincts. On one side lies our capacity for goodness, our yearning for truth, love, courage, and selflessness. On the other side resides the pull of selfish desires, fear, anger, and complacency. These forces are not external enemies, they dwell within us, intertwined with our thoughts, emotions, and decisions. This inner conflict is both unavoidable and necessary. It reveals the depth of our humanity, for without struggle, there would be no growth. The presence of the battle is not a sign of weakness, but of potential. It indicates that we are more than our impulses, that we possess the ability to strive towards something greater. This tension is the furnace in which character is forged, demanding that we confront not just the world around us, but the deepest parts of ourselves. While this battle is constant, its nature is subtle. It does not announce itself with the roar of external conflict, but manifests in the quiet moments when we decide whether to forgive or to hold a grudge, to speak truth or to remain silent, to act courageously or to retreat into fear. These decisions, though small in the moment, accumulate to define the course of our lives. The struggle is not only about resisting the temptation to do wrong, it is equally about embracing the call to do right. Importantly, this battle is not fought in isolation. Our relationships, environments, and experiences all influence the dynamics of the struggle within. Yet, at its core, it remains deeply personal. It is the arena where our true selves are revealed, not in public victories, but in the unseen choices that shape our character. To understand this battle is to understand that it is not something to be feared or avoided. It is a gift, an opportunity to rise above mediocrity and pursue the highest ideals of humanity. In the end, it is not the absence of struggle that defines a person, but the courage to face it and emerge stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Choice is the essence of the battle within, the very battlefield where the conflict is fought. Every day we are presented with countless decisions, large and small, that shape the course of our lives. These choices may seem trivial in isolation, but they are the building blocks of character and destiny. It is not the circumstances we face that define us, but the way we respond to them. This response, this deliberate act of choosing, is the greatest power we possess. What makes choice so profound is its inherent duality. At every crossroads we are pulled in different directions, the easier path that promises comfort and convenience, and the harder road that demands effort, integrity, and sacrifice. The easier path often appeals to our immediate desires, offering instant gratification and relief. Yet it is the harder road that leads to growth, wisdom, and fulfillment. In the moment of decision, the battle rages between what we want now and what we know to be right. Choice is also the arena where freedom is most clearly expressed. Unlike the forces of nature or external events, our choices are uniquely ours. No one can compel us to think or act in a certain way. The decision ultimately rests with us. This is both a privilege and a responsibility. The freedom to choose means that we have the power to shape our lives, but it also means that we must bear the consequences of our actions. To abdicate this responsibility to let others decide for us, or to act without reflection, is to surrender the most essential part of ourselves. The act of choosing is rarely straightforward. It often involves weighing conflicting values, desires, and fears. It requires clarity of thought, strength of will, and sometimes the courage to stand alone. It is in these moments of uncertainty and struggle that our true character is revealed. The right choice is rarely the easiest or the most popular, but it is the one that aligns with our highest ideals and deepest truths. Choice is a test of who we are and who we wish to become. It is through the accumulation of right decisions, no matter how small, that we build a life of meaning and purpose. The battle within may be fierce, but it is in the act of choosing rightly that we find victory not only over our struggles but over ourselves. Self-deception is one of the most subtle and dangerous aspects of the battle within. It is the quiet voice that whispers comforting lies, allowing us to rationalize poor choices and avoid facing uncomfortable truths. While external conflicts are often visible and tangible, self-deception operates in the shadows, disguising itself as reason, justification, or even virtue. It is the enemy that wears a mask, and because of its subtlety, it is often the hardest to confront. At its core, self-deception stems from our natural desire to protect ourselves from pain, guilt, and fear. Rather than acknowledging our flaws or wrong actions, we create narratives that minimize their significance or shift the blame onto others. We tell ourselves that the lie was harmless, the anger justified, or the compromise necessary. These rationalizations might bring temporary relief, but they distance us from the truth, eroding our integrity and weakening our character over time. What makes self-deception particularly insidious is its ability to cloud our perception of reality. It convinces us that we are acting out of noble intentions even when our motives are selfish or misguided. For example, we might claim to be helping someone out of kindness when, deep down, we are seeking recognition or control. Such distortions prevent us from truly examining ourselves and addressing the root causes of our struggles. Confronting self-deception requires a commitment to honesty, both with ourselves and others. This is not an easy task. It demands that we set aside our pride and look directly at the parts of ourselves we would rather ignore. It means admitting when we are wrong, acknowledging our weaknesses, and taking responsibility for our actions. This process can be painful, but it is also liberating. Only by facing the truth can we begin to grow and change. Self-deception also thrives in isolation. When we avoid accountability or surround ourselves with people who only affirm our biases, we give it room to flourish. To combat this, we must seek out relationships and environments that encourage honesty, humility, and self-reflection. Listening to constructive criticism and being open to feedback are essential steps in breaking free from the illusions we create. Self-deception is a barrier to true growth and transformation. While it may offer temporary comfort, it ultimately traps us in mediocrity. Only by embracing truth, no matter how uncomfortable, can we overcome this hidden enemy and progress in the battle within. Struggle is an unavoidable part of life, and it is through adversity that we discover our true strength. The battle within, marked by moments of doubt, fear, and conflict, is not something to be feared or avoided. Instead, it is the very process that refines us like fire refining gold. Without challenges, we would remain stagnant, unable to grow into the fullness of who we are meant to be. The tension we feel in our inner conflicts is not a sign of failure, but a sign of potential, a signal that we are capable of more than we currently are. Strength is not found in the absence of struggle. It is born from the very act of enduring it. Each difficulty we face, whether internal or external, presents an opportunity to build resilience. When we choose to confront our fears instead of running from them, when we wrestle with our doubts instead of succumbing to them, we develop the fortitude needed to face even greater challenges. This process is not immediate. It requires patience, perseverance, and the willingness to fail and try again. Yet every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Adversity also teaches us humility and perspective. In the midst of struggle, we are reminded of our limitations and our need for grace, both from others and from ourselves. It is in our weakest moments that we often find the greatest clarity, realizing what truly matters and what does not. Struggle strips away pretense, forcing us to confront our true selves, our fears, our flaws, and our strengths. This self-awareness is a gift, for it allows us to grow not only in strength but in wisdom and compassion. Strength gained through adversity is not only for our benefit, it enables us to support others in their struggles. Having faced our own battles, we can empathize with those who are fighting theirs. Our experience has become a source of encouragement and guidance, proving that victory is possible and that they too are capable of enduring and overcoming. The battle within is not a curse but a gift. Each challenge, each struggle is an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. It is through adversity that we are shaped into the people we are meant to be, prepared to face the world with courage and grace. The journey may be difficult, but the strength it builds within us is immeasurable. Perspective is one of the most powerful tools in navigating the battle within. The way we view our struggles, challenges, and setbacks determines not only how we respond to them, but also the growth and transformation they can bring. Often it is not the difficulty itself that overwhelms us, but the lens through which we see it. A shift in perspective can transform what appears to be a burden into an opportunity, what feels like failure into a stepping stone for growth. When we encounter challenges, it is natural to focus on the discomfort, fear, or frustration they bring. This narrow view can make problems seem insurmountable, leaving us paralyzed or disheartened. However, when we step back and consider the broader picture, we begin to see these difficulties in a different light. Struggles are not merely obstacles to avoid, they are teachers. They reveal areas where we need to grow, refine our character, and strengthen our resolve. Every challenge carries within it a lesson, and every failure holds the seed of future success, if only we choose to look for it. Perspective also reminds us that struggles are temporary. In the moment, a problem can feel all-consuming, as if it will last forever. But time often shows us that our hardships are fleeting, and what remains is the person we become through enduring them. Recognizing the transient nature of difficulties helps us to face them with patience and courage, knowing that they too shall pass. Another important aspect of perspective is gratitude. Even in the midst of our battles, there is always something to be thankful for: an insight gained, a strength uncovered, or the support of others. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, from what is going wrong to what is going right. It helps us see that life's challenges are not punishments but opportunities to grow into the best version of ourselves. Perspective is a choice. We cannot always control our circumstances, but we can control how we view and respond to them. By adopting a mindset that sees challenges as opportunities and setbacks as lessons, we empower ourselves to overcome the battle within. In doing so, we not only transform our struggles, but also discover the incredible strength, resilience, and wisdom that lies within us. Accountability is one of the most transformative forces in the battle within. It demands that we take full responsibility for our actions, thoughts, and decisions, refusing to shift blame onto others or external circumstances. While the concept may seem daunting, accountability is not a burden, it is a path to growth, freedom, and integrity. When we embrace it, we move from being passive victims of our inner conflicts to active participants in shaping our character and destiny. Taking responsibility begins with self-awareness. It requires us to examine our choices honestly, to ask why we act as we do, and to confront the motivations behind our decisions. This process is neither comfortable nor easy. It often means acknowledging flaws, mistakes, and areas of weakness. Yet this self-reflection is essential because growth is impossible without understanding where we currently stand. Just as a map is useless if we don't know our starting point, so too is personal transformation impossible without first identifying the areas that need change. Accountability also involves a willingness to admit when we are wrong. This can be one of the hardest aspects of the battle within, as it requires humility and courage. Pride often tempts us to justify our actions or shift blame, but accountability demands honesty. When we own our mistakes, we open the door to learning from them. Each misstep becomes an opportunity for growth, a chance to refine our character and make better choices in the future. Accountability is not a solitary endeavor. While the battle within is deeply personal, we often need others to help us see our blind spots and hold us to our highest standards. Surrounding ourselves with people who value integrity and growth creates an environment where accountability can thrive. These individuals challenge us to be better, offering constructive feedback and encouragement when we falter. Accountability leads directly to growth. When we take ownership of our actions, we stop being controlled by our past mistakes or fears. Instead, we become empowered to change, to make better choices, and to pursue our highest ideals. This process strengthens not only our character but also our relationships and sense of purpose. Accountability is a gift we give ourselves. It allows us to confront the battle within with clarity and determination, transforming our struggles into opportunities for growth and self-mastery. It is through this commitment to responsibility that we become the person we were meant to be. Hope and redemption are the guiding lights in the battle within, reminding us that no struggle is ever final, no failure beyond repair. They offer the assurance that, no matter how far we may stray or how fierce the inner conflict becomes, there is always a path to restoration and renewal. This truth is the cornerstone of personal transformation, providing the strength to continue fighting even when the journey feels overwhelming. Hope is the belief that change is possible, that tomorrow can be better than today. It is not blind optimism or wishful thinking, rather, it is a deep conviction that our efforts, no matter how small, have the power to bring about meaningful change. In the battle within, hope is the force that keeps us moving forward, urging us to rise after every fall. It reminds us that our failures do not define us and that every step, even the smallest one, is progress. Redemption is the fulfillment of hope, the realization that we can be restored, renewed, and made whole. It is the acknowledgement that mistakes and shortcomings are not the end of the story, but part of the process of becoming our best selves. Redemption does not erase the past, instead it transforms it, turning pain into wisdom and failure into strength. It allows us to see our struggles not as barriers but as stepping stones to growth. The journey toward hope and redemption requires humility and perseverance. It begins with the willingness to acknowledge our flaws and accept that change takes time. It also demands patience, as progress is often slow and marked by setbacks. Yet every effort we make, every time we choose courage over fear, forgiveness over resentment, or honesty over deceit, brings us closer to redemption. Hope and redemption also remind us of the value of grace, both for ourselves and others. In the battle within, we must learn to forgive ourselves for our failures and extend that same forgiveness to those around us. This act of grace does not excuse wrongdoing, but rather acknowledges our shared humanity and the possibility of growth. Hope and redemption teach us that the battle within is not about achieving perfection, but about striving for progress. They reassure us that, no matter how difficult the struggle, we are never beyond the reach of renewal. Through perseverance, reflection, and faith in the process, we can emerge stronger, wiser, and more whole.